In today's video, we're going to do a stock market analysis for Uber Technologies. It's going to be at a very beginner safe level for you. The goal at the end of the day is for you to be able to learn how to do a very general analysis for a stock that you're looking to invest in. Let's get into it. So first of all, you want to go on to Yahoo Finance, and then you want to put in the ticker symbol for your stock. And the stock we're doing today is Uber Technologies. So we can see that Uber is currently trading at $76.65. And we can see that over today's trading, Uber gained 29 cents per share. It's grown 0.38%. Now we're going to have a look at the sections down here. So we're going to have a look at Uber's previous closing price, which was $76.36. And Uber opened this morning at $76.29. The reason why Uber would have opened for less money this morning was simply because buyers weren't willing to pay that higher price on the trades this morning, and sellers were willing to come down to this lower price. I'm not going to explain too deeply what the bid and asking price is. All I'll say simply for today's video is buyers now are currently willing to pay $76.68. That's what they're willing to bid to buy the stock. And what sellers are currently asking for is $76.75 to sell the stock. If we have a look at today's trading range, we can see that today Uber traded at its lowest price at $75.01, and at its highest price it traded today at $77.04. But all throughout today, the price stayed between $75 and $77. Now we can see that Uber over the last 52 weeks that it's traded, we can see that the stock price at its absolute lowest in the 52-week range was trading at $60.63. And its absolute highest point it traded was at $101.99, or I'll just say $102. Now, what we can see with the volume is today's trading volume, there was 19,804,000 shares traded just today, which is a really good sign. It means that if you do end up buying into Uber, it's going to be quite easy to sell your stock since there's that many trades happening. However, it doesn't mean you will get a higher price for your stock. And if you look at volume at other companies and you see that their volume of trades is getting close to zero, it's definitely risky to buy that stock even if the company does increase in price, because you may not be able to sell it. If there's no volume, if there's no trades happening, it's going to be more difficult to sell your stock. Now, the average volume for Uber is normally 21 million trades a day, which is still a very significant amount. It means there's a lot of people currently looking at investing into Uber and also selling their stock in Uber. Now we're going to have a look at the current market cap of Uber, which is the total value of the entire company. Currently, it's sitting at $159 billion, 266 million. To find what the market cap is, all you simply have to do is look at the current share price, which is $76.65, and multiply it by the number of shares outstanding, which is currently 2,073,483,000 shares outstanding. When you look at beta, this measures the volatility of Uber compared to the current market, and at 1.22, this means that Uber moves 22% more compared to the whole market. When we look at the price to earnings ratio and we look at the earnings per share ratio, we can see that for every single share Uber has, it makes $4.73 per share on the earnings. Now, when we look at the price to earnings ratio, the company is valued 16.21 times what it makes in a single year as the net income per share. To find out the earnings per share ratio, all you need to do there is look at the total net income on the financial statement for Uber, and then you divide it by the total amount of shares outstanding, and that means Uber is currently making $4.73 per share. and the company has been priced at 16.21 times the amount it earns every single year, which is $76. Now, with the earnings date, this simply means when the company is going to publicly announce its earnings. Now, Uber's not paying any dividend whatsoever. That's why these are blank. Looking at the 1 year target estimate of $104.47 compared to what the current price is, the analysts are very optimistic that Uber is going to increase its share price by roughly about 25% in 1 year's time. When you do look at investing into Uber, there's many things that you need to look out for. Definitely financials is extremely important and the business's long-term fundamentals. But there's also going to be news probably every single day that'll show you if there's going to be new Uber advancements, say into the taxi, say into automatic vehicles and Uber being a part of that. There's going to be information about what the CEO's plans are for Uber. It's definitely worth doing your own research. When you look at the financial statements, it can be extremely daunting for people, so we're going to keep it as simple as we can. When we look at the total revenue for Uber, we can see from 2022 to 2025, the revenue has increased every single year. From 2022, it being $31 billion to 2025, its revenue being $52 billion. Now, its cost of revenue has increased each year as well. That's completely fine. When you expect growth in revenue, there's always going to be, the company is also going to experience costs from its growth. Now, we can see the gross profit increasing every single year. Looking at the operating expenses, we can see it's increased most years by a slight amount. From 2022 to 2025, it has increased $1 billion, but the operating income has done an excellent job. From 2022, the company actually lost over $1 billion, nearly $1.8 billion. And from 2023, it actually gained $1.1 billion. 2024 to 2025, it continued to increase and improve its operating income. I'm going to skim over this, but what we want to also look at is the current net income. And what we can see is in 2022, it actually lost $9 billion. But from 2022 to 2025, it's gone from losing $9 billion in 2022 to gaining over $10 billion in net income in 2025. So this company has increased its net income every single year by a significant amount. I won't go into detail with it today, but something to ask yourself is the current assets increasing every single year, and can the assets pay off all the liabilities? So, for example, the current assets is $13 billion, nearly $14 billion, and the total current liabilities is $12 billion. So, yes, it can cover it. And another positive sign is that the current assets have increased every single year. Something else that's worth looking at on Yahoo Finance is looking at the key executives. So you can see the CEO, you can see who the chief financial officer is. And if we leave Yahoo Finance for a second, we can see how much of the stock the CEOs and other key executives own of Uber. If the key executives do own a significant portion of the shares, it's a very good sign that they're heavily invested, and the better the company does, the better the executives do as well. So heading over to this website, we can see that the current CEO is holding $43 million worth of shares. That's a very significant amount, and they have only sold 5 shares. They haven't bought any stock this year. Now, what we can also see is the chief financial officer has made 2 purchases of 22,000 shares they've bought, which are worth approximately $1.6 million. This is also a very good sign that if the chief financial officer is buying shares into Uber and the CEO holds $43 million worth of Uber shares, they believe the company is obviously a good investment, but also they're extremely committed to the long-term outcome of Uber. Now, if we go back to Yahoo Finance, what you can also do is you can check out other holders in the actual company, and you can see that from shares that are held by insiders, it's about 0.5%, but shares that are held by institutions equate to around 85%. So You can see top institutional holders such as Vanguard, BlackRock, Morgan Stanley, how many shares those institutions are holding, and the value of the shares that they're holding. The last thing we're going to look at is the trading chart. So you can have a little look at the 1 day trading charts. You can look at the last 5 days that the stocks were trading. And you can also look at even the last year of trades if you like to. You can go back as far as when Uber first was released on the stock market at $40 a share, and you can see how it's performed over that period of time. It's very difficult to time the market and buy at the cheapest price, but if you believe you're getting value for your money and you believe the company is going to perform well over the long period of time, there's certainly a lot of money that can be made in the stock market. Well, that's it for Uber's stock analysis for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.